The leader of the IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, who has been incarcerated by the DSS, has written a letter to President Donald Trump from detention at the State Security Service headquarters in Abuja, Nigeria, urging American intervention in what he described as an ongoing genocide against the Igbo Christians in eastern Nigeria. The letter details several specific incidents that Kanu claims demonstrate a pattern of violence against Christians in eastern Nigeria. I am going to read you the details of the letter as written by Nnamdi Kanu himself. I extend warm greetings to you in the name of the Judeo-Christian faith and values we both hold dear. As a practicing Jew and a believer in the Judeo-Christian heritage that shaped Western civilization, I was honored to attend your campaign event in Des Moines, Iowa in January 2020. Your bold declaration on October 31st, 2025 that the United States is prepared to act militarily and cut aid if Nigeria fails to protect its Christian population has ignited hope in the heart of millions who have been abandoned by the world. You have seen the truth. Christians in Nigeria face an existential threat. I write to you now to reveal that this genocide is not confined in the north. It has metastasized into the Igbo heartland, where Judeo-Christians are being systematically exterminated under the guise of counterterrorism. I am Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a peaceful, non-violent civil rights movement rooted in Judeo-Christian principles. Since 2015, I have survived 4 documented assassination attempts by the Nigerian state. On 20th June 2021, I was forcibly abducted from Kenya in an extraordinary rendition operation, an act that violated Kenyan and international law, as condemned by a Kenyan High Court ruling, petition number E282 of 2021. Despite this ruling, I was illegally transported to Nigeria and thrown into solitary detention in Abuja without a valid subsisting charge, and for the sole crime of defending my people's right to life, faith, and self-determination under international law. On 13th October 2022, the Court of Appeal in Abuja, CA-ABJ CRU 625-2022, discharged and acquitted me of all charges, ruling that my rendition was illegal, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of international law. The court ordered my immediate and unconditional release, yet I remain in solitary detention over 1,595 days since my adoption. The Nigerian government defied its own judiciary, refusing to release me as ordered. I was never released, so there was no rearrest, only continued unlawful imprisonment in blatant violation of constitutional protected double jeopardy safeguard under Section 36, subsection 9 of the 1999 Constitution and Article 7, subsection 2 of the African Charter. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, opinion number 252022, declare my continued imprisonment arbitrary, unlawful, and politically motivated. This is not justice. This is state capture of the rule of law to silence a Judeo-Christian voice. The same extremist-backed forces you have condemned in the north, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Fulani militias, operate with state complicity in the southeast and Igbo-speaking territories of Benue, Kogi, and Delta. But here, the Nigerian military itself is the primary perpetrator, shielded by a false narrative that blames victims. These atrocities are irrefutably documented. Number 1, Mpo Biafra Heroes Day Massacre, 30th May 2016. Amnesty International, 2016. At least 150 peaceful Christian worshippers killed, bodies dumped in rivers. Security forces opened fire on demonstrators at St. Edmund's Catholic Church. At least 60 killed, over 70 injured. Victims shot in the back while praying. Inter-Society 2016 field report, true death toll exceeds 900,000, with mass graves discovered near Onitsha. This was not a clash, it was a massacre of worshippers commemorating their fallen. National High School Aba Massacre, 9 February 2016. Amnesty International, 22 key on site. 13 bodies exhumed from a burial pit near Aba Port Harcourt Road. UN Special Rapporteur. Soldiers from the 144 Battalion fired indiscriminately into a crowd of young Christian students praying and singing hymns. No evidence of armed resistance. Children were executed for singing Sweet Jesus. Number 3. Operation Python Dance 2, 12 to 14 September 2017. Amnesty International. A decade of impunity. 150 killed in raid on Kanu's home in Afaruku. No soldiers died. UN Calamod report. Asymmetric use of leather force and forced disappearance. Part of a continuum of state violence. I survived the third assassination attempt that day. 28 unarmed civilians did not. Obibo massacre. October 2020. Amnesty International report. At least 13 civilians killed, including children. Mass burial, rape used as a weapon. A Christian town was punished for protesting police brutality. Port Harcourt, Iguacha, Trump Solidarity Rally, 20th January 2017. IPOB eyewitness accounts and local report. Hundreds of Judeo-Christian supporters gunned down by soldiers under Islamic Sympathetic Command. They came to celebrate your inauguration. They were met with bullets. The architect of this crime, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Buratai, former Chief of Army Staff, in 2021, President Buhari appointed him ambassador to Benin, granting him diplomatic immunity to evade ICC prosecution. This is a state-sponsored impunity on a genocidal scale. Weaponization of insecurity to demonize IPOB. Since my illegal rendition, Nigeria has declared IPOB a terrorist organization despite zero evidence of violence, confirmed by US State Department 2021. Orchestrated unknown gunmen, attack using state-backed militias, then blame IPOB. Key over 2,000 Igbo youth in counter-terrorism operations, Inter-Society 2021 to 2025. This is Rwanda playbook. Create chaos, blame the victim, justify extermination. A call to you, President Trump. You said America will act. Now is the moment. I respectfully urge you to 1. Launch a US-led independent inquiry into the state-sponsored massacre of Judeo-Christians in eastern Nigeria with full access to mass grave, military logs, and survivor testimonies. 2. Convene emergency congressional hearing into the Igbo Christian genocide featuring the 13 October 2022 Court of Appeal judgment discharging me, disobeyed by the government. UN Calamot report on Aba and Mpo. Nigeria defense of its own constitution. Impose targeted Magnitsky Act sanctions on Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, Ambassador Bini. Current DSS Director General Yusuf Bichi, Southeast Military Commander implicated in Obibo. Support an internationally supervised referendum on self-determination for the Igbo people. Only the peaceful path to ending the cycle of violence, as affirmed by the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Article 20. In closing, Mr. President, history will judge us by what we do when genocide knocks. You have the power to stop a second Rwanda in Africa. One tweet, one sanction, one inquiry could save millions. I remain steadfast in peace, faith, and non-violence, even from a prison cell. IPOB rejects every form of violence. We seek only justice, truth, and freedom. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who delivered Israel from Pharaoh, grant you wisdom and courage to deliver his people once again. When Trump designated Nigeria a country of particular concern, he asked Congressman Riley Moore and Senator Ted Cruz to immediately begin investigation into the matter. Let me be crystal clear about something here. When the United States Congress launched an investigation into genocide allegations, it is not a symbolic gesture. This is the nuclear option. This is America saying, we are going to look under every rock, open every file, and expose every secret. As it stands now with China showing solidarity to Nigeria, the United States will do everything possible to tell the whole world that indeed Nigeria has been committing genocide against Christians in Nigeria. Now with Nnamdi Kanu letter addressed to Donald Trump, This letter will become a part of an investigation that will be carried out by the United States Congress. They will look into this letter. They will investigate every report in this letter. They will contact the survivors. They will contact Amnesty International. They will read the UN report. They will read the Africa report. Every available report will be unveiled. And this is not looking good for Nigeria. Trump only said the Christian in the north, but now in Nnamdi Kanu letter, it is saying that Christians in the south are also facing genocide by the Nigerian government. The governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, also stated in an interview that Christians are killing Christians in the south. Then he will be called to testify. Who are the Christians killing Christians in the south? Then an investigation will be made into all the killings that have been done in the southeast. The southeast used to be the most peaceful region in Nigeria, but today the southeast has become a hotbed for criminality. That means the US will equally investigate the reason for the rise of insecurity in the southeast, because this insecurity in the southeast is created by the government. The government is fully responsible for this insecurity in the southeast. Just like Nnamdi Kanu stated in the letter, that they want to cause this chaos so that they can kill people and target IPOB. They are looking for every avenue to tag IPOB, a terrorist organization. Remember, the United States has refused to tag IPOB, a terrorist organization. This is not looking good for Nigeria. This is not looking good for Nigeria. If this investigation moves forward and all signs point to yes, Nigeria is actually committing genocide against the Christian. What this means is that Nigeria is staring down the barrel of a potential breakout that could make Brexit look like a friendly divorce. Here is the domino sequence, and pay close attention to this, how nation collapse. Kanu letter specifically named Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai and the current DSS Director General Yusuf Bichi for targeted Magnitsky Act sanctions. When America freezes your assets and bans you from international travel, you become radioactive. Other countries follow suit. The international banking system locks you out. Your political career is over. If America sanctions Nigeria's military and intelligence chief for genocide, that is not just punishing individuals. That is America saying the Nigerian government itself is complicit in crime against humanity. Once the US Congress validates genocide allegations through official hearings, the International Criminal Court gets dragged into the spotlight. Remember, Buratai was given diplomatic immunity by being made ambassador to Benin Republic, specifically to dodge ICC prosecution. But when the world's most powerful nation starts investigating you for genocide, diplomatic immunity will be thrown out of the window. The ICC will face massive pressure to act, and when ICC indictments start flying, government falls. The big one in this letter is the referendum demand. Kanu letter calls for an internationally supervised referendum on Biafra self-determination. Now, under normal circumstances, Nigeria will laugh this off and the international community will look the other way. But after a US congressional investigation validates genocidal claims, suddenly that referendum demand has teeth. The African Union will face enormous pressure. The UN will be forced to address it. European nations could have to take side. And here is the million-dollar question. If America backs a referendum for Biafra independence after documenting genocide, can the Nigerian government actually stop it without triggering full-scale international intervention? Like I said, this is not looking well for Nigeria. I am Avalanche Media, and I bring the truth like an avalanche, fast, heavy, and unstoppable. Stay informed, stay vigilant, stay ready. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.